see you both. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for
Thank
having me.
you.
No, I find it really I was excited when Senator sent me this film because I'm both a big fan of both your work and we've talked for past projects and this one was intense and hit hard and made me think a lot. And I think Adrienne, that's like when you read that stuff in the script, right? Like that kind of probably comes to mind where it's like, wow, like what's it going to be like when we get there and film this, right? Like that kind of aspect of it.
Well, yes, absolutely. But also Evan and I Evan is one of my dearest friends and
Mm.
one of my favorite directors I've worked with. We did a really amazing short together, Thoughts and Prayers before, and I just couldn't wait to do this with him. I mean, I knew it was going to be a lot and it was going to be intense. It was going to be hard to get the financing. It was going to do, all these things, but I could see it in my head, and
Mhm.
I felt like I had to do this film.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Henry, what we've talked like last time we spoke, we talked about like, the indie landscape and all these amazing creatives making incredible things. And I'm just kind of wondering for you, like when you get an opportunity like this, like what comes to mind, so to speak, similar to what Adrienne said about like just making an important film like this?
Yeah, well, it as an actor, you know, it's very interesting to have a character like Pastor Mike who, is kind of caught in a moral conundrum. So, there's so many things to play in that universe, and I think that obviously corporations don't want to touch these issues because it's risky or there could be backlash, whatever. Um, but I think that good art and good literary works, good film, it makes you think, it makes you question things, it makes you see things from a different perspective. And you know, I don't like you know moral blackmail or emotional blackmail or anything like that. It's not trickery, it's presenting a story and a human story at that. So these things kind of slip through the cracks in the studio world because they're more interested in tentpole sort of features these days. But I think these stories are important to tell. And
Mhm.
and uh, again, like art should make you think.
Mhm. Absolutely. Um, when was this film filmed, Adrienne?
So like 2.5 years ago, something like that.
And it's interesting to like because I'm a filmmaker as well, right? And I have a film coming out too that shot 2 years ago as well. And it's interesting too, right, to think about the two journeys, right? Like filming something, then you wrap, and then it's like you move on to the next journey until you're back on this journey, right? Of like talking about it, people get to see it. Do you get used to that a little bit? Like you've been in quite some films and TV show. Like I feel like sometimes it's hard to even just get used to the idea where it's like it's out of your hands, but then it's back in your hands because you have to talk about it. Like it's an interesting landscape, right?
It's a ever-changing market, right? It's an ever-changing market. So it used to be a 1 year turnaround,
Mhm.
on average. Now it's stretched out 2 years or so because obviously there are a lot of platforms, there's a lot of stuff getting shot, there's a lot of things being made, and buyers have gotten really, really picky and choosy, and nobody wants to spend the money like they used to. And, so there are a lot of factors. But in my experience, like the industry has changed like every 5 years, like pretty
Mhm.
steadily, like you can count on it. So
Mhm.
you just kind of have to roll with it. And I don't know, I always just say I'm always keeping my head above the water. That's it.
Mhm.
Exactly. It's like I'm happy to be working. I hope somebody will see it eventually. This
Yeah.
one's a little different because I was a producer on it. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
been, it's never really left my, like I never left it.
Yeah.
Unlike most things where I just walk away and I'm like, well, hopefully that goes somewhere. But
Yeah.
you have to move on.
Absolutely. So to add to that, I find it very interesting because you're the director, are friends, you worked on a short together. Can you take me through the conversations with him in regards to a feature film? You know what I mean? Because like I just want like I love those conversations, right? About like you work with someone, you made a short film, and now it's like let's make a feature film. What were the initial conversations with him about making a feature film?
Well, and he's been one of my friends for a very, very long time, and we both live in Austin. So he shows up at my house, and he and Hardy Jansen had written this script for me to play the woman, and he, handed me a bottle of Tito's and the script, and he's like, "I want you to read this, and I want you to think about it," and da, da, da. And I read it, and I mean, immediately I was like, I have to make this movie as tears are falling down my, face. It took me a couple days to be able to call him because I couldn't even talk about it without getting too emotional. Um, and so at that point, I was like, and I want to help. So, Evan and I really, and Caitlin, Ezra, Emily, we like really bound together and tried to get this funding. And for Evan and I, it was very difficult to try to get funding for a movie about abortion in Texas.
Mhm.
But we did it and so proud of it. But that's kind of the essence of what happened.
No, absolutely. No, that's really well said. The behind the scenes of how it happens, and sometimes it really is like that, right? Like someone just gives you a script and says, "I want you to read this." You know what I mean? Like I find sometimes you see a lot of these interviews where it's like, "How did this happen?" And it was just like my friend sent me the script. He wanted me to be in it, right? And then like everyone's thinking it's gonna be like a big like answer. You know what I mean? It's just simple as that. Because I think creatives want to also support creatives, right? Like I think that's a most like a thing that I'm realizing as well, being on the indie film side of things, which is really, really important. And Henry, I kind of wanted to ask you as well, like, in regards to like that script to screen journey, like getting the script and but then actually getting there and then playing the pastor and everything. What's that like for you specifically, that script to screen journey? Because I feel like depending on the project and the role, it's going to be different every time.
It is different every time, but sometimes you come in quite early on, sometimes you come in last minute, and so um, it changes and it fluctuates with each project. Um, this project in particular, I came in rather late upon, but
Mhm.
I uh, I was really invested in the story and the character, and I'm from Texas, and Evan's a Texas filmmaker, and it was pretty much a all Texas crew, and you want to support the young filmmakers coming up. So
Yeah.
uh, for me, that was sort of the motivational force behind it, and then you know, working with Adrianne and going through, we shot relatively quickly because as a filmmaker, you have less and less time and less money. Um, and it's a great feeling, even though it's a couple of years later, it's a great feeling to know that we have distribution and people are going to see it, uh,
Mhm.
have a chance to see it, because that's the great fear when you make these things. Sometimes they slip through the cracks, and you know.
Mhm. Mhm. No, absolutely. And then last question for you, Adrienne. I'm really curious about, um, the producer and actor perspective, right? Like, what was that like balancing those two things? What was that like being kind of on those big production meetings? And at some point, it's like, I have to act in this. You know what I mean? I'm just wondering what was that like for you? How did you balance that?
Well, I mean, the beginning was just go, 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 get money, get money. Let's get there.
Yeah.
And then once we got on set, Evan was very much so about like, let me take over and handle from here. I want you to focus because you're carrying the majority of the film yourself. So like get emotional, be here, do your thing. So supportive. And I mean, that's kind of what it was. It was just more like, I can't believe we're actually here. We made it. We did it. How did we do this? And we didn't even have all of the funding when we started. It was, so it was like, as you're going, you're creeping, getting more and more money as you need it. And it was really one of those things where, like, one point we're like, are we going to have to shut down, you
Mhm.
know, midway
Hmm.
through,
Hanging on by your fingernails.
Hmm.
literally. So, yeah,
Hmm.
Evan, when we were there, really tried to protect me from a lot of that.
No, absolutely. No, I'm so happy for everyone that Due West Cineverse is going to be releasing Due West. This was a great film. Both of you are fantastic actors. It's always a pleasure to speak to both of you. Congratulations on the release of the film. Good to see you both. Thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Great to see you. See you soon.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.